What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as Wrestlelamia gives you the scoop on the latest and greatest in professional wrestling, including AEW's Excalibur and WWE's Kevin Owens accused of using racial slurs, two big Raw returns, Ember is upset with the booking in the WWE's women's division, Seth Rollins shows his welts from his attack on Monday night, Jon Moxley shoots on Mr. McMahon, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into the first story. Now our first story looks at a video surfacing online of Excalibur and Kevin Owens using racial slurs. Now, a video of AEW announcer Excalibur and WWE superstar Kevin Owens has surfaced of their time in pro wrestling Guerrilla using the N-word in a promo. According to a report by Ringside News' Felix Upton, one video shows Excalibur using the racial slur in a comical way, with the A but still very inappropriate. The other instance was not so funny in the slightest. It was intended to draw heat. The second video took place at a live event and the use of the N-word was with a hard R. It was directed at his opponent that night. He also used a slur for a Latin American during the same promo. Kevin Owens was also in the clip where he dropped the M-bomb after Excalibur. Now, whilst common sense would suggest you don't use racial slurs for any reason, let alone to get cheap heat, it's unfortunately nothing new in wrestling, as we all remember Vince's use of the word during a promo. I was certainly not condoning the use of the word at all, but there is a big difference between their use of it, as well as Vince's use of it and Hogan's use of the word during his leaked video where he disparaged African Americans and admitted he's racist to a point. Both situations are disgusting, but they shouldn't be treated the same. But what are your thoughts on it? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Jon Moxley calls Mr. McMahon a 74-year-old madman. Current AEW champion Jon Moxley finds himself in a much different creative atmosphere than when he was in the WWE, something he candidly spoke to Busted Open Radio about the tightly scripted WWE and unscripted AEW. All I have to do is go out and be the best pro wrestler I can be, put a mic in front of me, turn the camera on, and I just gotta talk. It doesn't matter what I say, I'll say what I want. I'm very comfortable at all time. I tell you what pressure is. Pressure is having a 2-page script written by a 74-year-old madman that makes no sense to you and it's gonna make you look stupid. You're on worldwide television and you have to memorize every line and somehow pull it off and not look like a total jackass. That's pressure. A lot of times I pulled it off, a lot of times I didn't, but I'll never be in that situation again. Now, Jon Moxley has never been afraid to speak out about his experiences in the WWE, and it's likely he's going to continue talking about the contrast between the two promotions. While it may seem like a waste of time or Moxley being unable to separate from the past, it's arguable his comments are also a good way to tempt WWE superstars into leaving the company for AEW. Do you guys think Vince is a 74-year-old madman or a 74-year-old genius? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Seth Rollins shows that Dominic didn't hold back. Dominic Mysterio's kendo stick attack on Seth Rollins on this week's edition of Raw inflicted some serious damage to the Monday Night Messiah's back, if a recent photograph is any indicator. Rollins tweeted a picture of his back banged up, along with the following message: Randy at his best, Sasha Asuka title fight, Drew Zigman pulling out all the stops, Lashley Ali, Murphy with a W, WWE Raw with a hell of a show. The only hiccup was that stubborn Mysterio kid. Those welts look painful. Anyone who wants to tell you that kendo sticks don't hurt might want to look at this picture. Next up, Ember is no fan of wrestlers with 2 belts. Now, although WWE superstar Ember is currently out of action due to a serious injury, she's not happy the way the WWE is booking the women's division, mainly its treatment of Bayley and Sasha Banks. The golden role models are sitting at the top of the women's division as they hold the Women's Tag Team Championship, SmackDown Women's Championship, and the Raw Women's Championship, a situation Moon does not feel is best for business. Moon commented on her Twitch stream that, "Why do we need 2 double champions? Is SummerSlam going to be like low-key Evolution with Sasha and Bayley wrestling for their singles titles and also for the tag titles? Is that a thing? Are we just reliving Triple H and Steve Austin's 2-man power trip from 2001? Sasha and Bayley have done a great job with a limited roster, but there are too many people sitting at home to tie up all these titles with 2 people. Moon was not happy with the match finish either and felt that if the WWE was going to have Asuka put Kairi Sane's well-being over the Raw Women's Championship, there should have been a great threat to the Empress of Tomorrow's friend. Ember's comments that Banks and Bayley are doing a great job with the limited roster ring hollow as both Raw and SmackDown have a solid women's roster. Although the tag team ranks are limited, it wouldn't take much to revive the Riot Squad or go with a new pairing. Bianca Belair and Shayna Baszler are two single stars that could make for excellent opponents for either women's champion, yet they've been largely missing in action. Add in the unsound decision to push Nia Jax and you have a roster that's loaded with talent but short on good booking. Next up is WWE bringing Stone Cold Steve Austin back. It looks like the WWE will be honouring Stone Cold Steve Austin's anniversary in the WWE, much as they did recently with Triple H's 25 years in the WWE. Wrestling News' Paul Davis brought up a report from the usually reliable WrestleVotes. WrestleVotes is reporting that there are plans to honour Stone Cold Steve Austin when fans return to shows. WrestleVotes reports that he would be honoured in a similar way that Triple H was honoured on SmackDown back in April. WWE will produce new merchandise alongside Austin's appearance. The WWE knows the popularity of superstars such as Stone Cold Steve Austin, so it's no surprise it's planning to capitalise on fans' nostalgia for the Texas Rattlesnake. Neither should it surprise anyone that WWE wants to honour him when there are fans present in the audience, and paying fans at that. Next up, news on Brock Lesnar's return. In addition to Austin, the WWE is also planning on booking another big return for Raw. WrestlingNews.co was told that Vince McMahon wants Brock Lesnar to wrestle on the first Raw back with fans, with the hopes of drawing a big rating. Makes sense. Next up, Nia Jax is fined. Now, thanks to her actions on Raw this week, WWE has fined Jax for laying her hands on a WWE official during a dust-up with Shayna Baszler. The storyline fine isn't the only Jax news, as Nia has apparently deleted or deactivated her Twitter account. There's no reason why she's done so, but she's done it in the past. Next up, Charlotte Flair's surgery update. Now, there's excellent news concerning 12-time Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. In an exclusive story, TalkSport's Alex McCarthy revealed, TalkSport can reveal that on July 25th, Flair had successful surgery to fix her lingering issue, which Flair herself spoke about on Twitter a few weeks back, and we're told it went great. You may recall Flair was written off WWE television in a backstage attack by Nia Jax. McCarthy also reported Flair is actually currently mulling over a few television roles that she's been offered. While she has an interest in doing overwork, we're told Flair's priority is wrestling for the time being. Are you looking forward to Flair's in-ring return, or are you more interested in what her television role may be? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Aleister Black has not been written off television. Fans have been hearing a number of rumours concerning Aleister Black, with one story holding that Vince McMahon has grown tired of Aleister's push, while others stating McMahon is a big fan of the Dutch Destroyer and wants to repackage him. However, Ringside News is reporting the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Black did have an injury angle at the hands of Rollins, but he's not being written off television. The attack from Rollins and Murphy gives Black a reason to go after either of them at SummerSlam. Vince McMahon's feelings about Black are not negative, but he does have concern that the former NXT champion lacks something for a wider appeal. As we've repeatedly pointed out, Black is a standout performer who only needs a consistent push and a good storyline. However, knowing the WWE, that might be asking too much. Next up, Snoop Dogg congratulates Sasha on a title win. Sasha Banks is the new Raw Women's Champion, and it didn't take long for her famous cousin Snoop Dogg to wish her well. The renowned rapper posted a picture of Banks with her new belt and the following message: "Congrats to my little cousin. The champ is here." And finally, Bubba Ray blasts Kairi Sane for farewell tweet after Beatdown. And last but not least, it appears that Bubba Ray Dudley is outraged at how Kairi Sane handled her departure from the WWE. In case you missed Raw this week, Kairi Sane was brutally beat down by SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley in a backstage ambush during Asuka's match against Sasha Banks. Just minutes after the attack, Kairi tweeted farewell to her fans and fellow WWE superstars. Bubba Ray Dudley went off during an episode of Busted Open Radio, saying, "Sending out that tweet 3 minutes after the segment ended was atrocious. Anything that WWE and those women tried to build up for that moment is now completely thrown out the window. Wrestlers thanking each other on social media, and what we saw from Kairi Sane last night, in my opinion, has absolutely no business in there." Now, who knows, Kairi Sane might be down with wrestling and she might not care anymore. You'd think that she'd give a damn about all those women. Now, the days of kayfabe are long over, and Bubba Ray's comments sound more like a way to get cheap heat for his radio show rather than a valid understanding of today's WWE product and its fans. Sane's tweets did nothing to hurt the business, and in fact, the real damage was done by the lousy finish to the Asuka Banks match. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.